Fear, greed, and opportunity. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. Mary Curie. So, this is absolutely true. Not only do we confuse things that we don't understand and often can become fearful of those things, but often where fear lies, there can be opportunity to learn and to grow. And the stock market is no different. I believe that fear keeps a lot of people essentially locked out of even being able, in their mind to be able to venture into, whether it's the stock market or several other things in their life. But, just like cryptocurrencies, right? Anytime I talk to anybody about cryptocurrencies, oh man, I got no freaking idea how that works. It's too volatile or whatever. Okay, I don't have any idea how cryptocurrency works. I have a basic understanding of it. I understand that it's changing the future in the world that we live in. But do I know how to make money from it? Absolutely, I do. So it's really just getting past these certain things that, keep us from moving forward. So let's dig into the meat of that. Emotions can create or destroy. When money is on the line, people can do really stupid things. Greed and fear are two of the most common and powerful emotions in the market. If you need proof, just spend an hour at a casino at a game where decent amounts of money are involved. The guy at the poker table taking everyone's money is cool, calm, and collected. Why? Because he has an edge and he knows it. The odds are in his favor to win more than he might lose. And this is our goal. When you have no understanding or education in the stock market, but decide to put your money at risk anyway, you are no different than the sucker at the poker table handing your money over to the guy who already has all the chips. But hey, at least at the casino you get free drinks. Mother Market can be hard and ruthless teacher. Believe me, I know. But as I mentioned, these emotions create opportunity for us to make money from. Let's look at a couple examples. And honestly, the poker thing is a very, very awesome kind of correlation to the stock market, because there's a lot of things that can be said. You can break things down statistics-wise, very similar to poker, the game that's played, and the guy who understands how to play versus the one who doesn't, and essentially all the money migrates to that guy. And the stock market is really no different. I mean, it migrates to the people who understand what they're doing, and especially from the easy money of the people who have no idea what they're doing, their money evaporates very, very quickly. As the other guy, the guy who's taken the money, is very strategic, understands the game, understands how to be calm, and essentially wait for things to fall into his favor, and then he knows how to kind of go for the kill. Here are two stock charts that are near and dear to my heart. Silver and Bitcoin. Here you can easily see where people hoping to make easy money and where FOMO, fear of missing out, causes price to rise to extremes and then fall the same way. People are still buying at the very top and selling at the very bottom. If you don't know who the sucker is, odds are that you are the sucker. And so you'll see here where, you kind of have stock markets, they go up and down and they gyrate, and that's all normal. And then you have points in time where news, media start pushing, it becomes front page thing, because everybody's attracted to, supposedly the easy money, the easy trade where, get rich quick. That's just the way that the world works. That's the way people's brains work. They're attracted to these things, and it usually sucks people in right about here. They look at it here and they're like, oh man, I wish I was in it. And they're like, oh man, I got to get in it. And they're like, oh, this thing's going to go up forever. It's never going to come down. So they usually buy up here, and then they have no strategy, have no idea what they're doing. And quickly it goes here and you start to lose money. And then you go, well, I don't know what I should do. Should I hold on? Everybody says it's going to come back. Everybody says it's going to come back. So it's coming back up here. And then it goes down again. Oh, you got to be kidding me. And then down and down and down, and eventually until you tap out and you've lost so much money that you're like, okay, well, I'm quit. And the stock market's too risky, and I'm never putting my money in there again, and it's time to move on, right? Which is garbage. You had no business being in here whatsoever. You had no business trading this. You did. You got burned as you should have, and now you pay the price for it. So the same thing here, right? So this is Bitcoin. This is the last run. It was a heck of a ride. It was a lot of fun, and same deal, right? People remember what happened whenever it went from $250 to 20 grand, and lots of people piled in, and then they buy at the top. You get burned on the way down. It takes some time for things to come back, and that's the cycle of the world that we live in. Fear and greed. If you think about it, fear and greed are both generally rooted in the subconscious. Often, before you become afraid of something, someone or something placed those thoughts in your mind. Take my wife, for instance, deathly afraid of snakes, yet she has had no real encounter with a snake that would warrant that level of fear. That specific fear can be traced back to her father, which is more than likely not based on any real experience as well, based on the way she speaks about them, like they could eat you. When I think of greed, selfish is a word that comes to mind. This begins in most of us at a very young age with the word mine. And if we aren't taught by our parents some healthy boundaries there, then there is a very real chance that those words may end up defining your personality. We all have known that person, or people. What I'm getting at is that it is a very real subconscious battle that most of us have experienced at some level throughout our lives. When you attach really strong emotions to those two words, they can have a strong, unproductive hold on your life. And those emotions can make a vicious comeback when you start putting money at risk of loss or gain. So it's important to understand that this is natural and to be expected, but also that it may manifest itself in different ways down the road. This is part of why having a plan and strategy is so important. They keep us focused on results and keep the emotions in check. Fear and greed can cause you to do very stupid things at often the worst time. This is very easy to test. Take some money set aside that you can afford to lose, head to the local casino and start making bets with it. See if you don't live and die as you make and lose money. Those emotions are very real and must be respected but understood. And so that's the deal. So often people don't enter into the stock market with money that they can afford or plan on losing, even though that's really how you kind of have to go into it, especially if you have no experience level and you have no understanding, right? It's very stupid to think that you're all of a sudden just going to start making money. And honestly, myself, I got lucky by winning my first, by having great success in my first trade. It's actually better to have the opposite happen, is to lose so that you can have a level of respect instead of a level of arrogance, thinking, man, I know what I'm doing. I got this figured out. It just leads to extremely much more turmoil than it needs to be. And so when you enter the market, you start trading and you don't expect to lose money and you start losing money, then emotions start having a very real hold on, they start taking a real hold on things very, very quickly. And so every decision you make is emotional, and it causes you sell when you should be buying and you buy when you should be selling. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's very, very, very real. And so it quickly can become a downward spiral. And so that's what we're doing. That's why we're learning. That's why we grow in our understanding of the way things work. Because, like I mentioned, emotions have no place in the stock market. Absolutely not. As soon as they start to show themselves, not only do you need to recognize that and deal with it, but it may be to the point where you need to close the trade. You need to get out. Something's not right. So you need to go back and check your strategy, check your framework of how that you've got too much money on the line, or you are now making too much money to where it becomes so ridiculous that the greed and the fear start taking over on both sides of those extremes. So we're going to work at building a solid plan. Once you have a solid plan in place and you know what you're going to do and why you're going to do it, and can learn to expect different things to happen and and what you should do, and to make these adjustments along the way, then it can become a very even-keeled, non-emotional process. And that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for emotions to be, there's nothing wrong with being excited. That's natural. You're going to be excited as you start to make money. And if you end up with a good trade and you make a lot of money, that's fantastic. But ultimately, that changes nothing. That may be a time where you need to take some profits and take some money off the table, to lower back down to a realistic, because you just can't think clearly. You can't make good decisions when emotions are running the show. And so we're going to continue to work on that. But it's very important to understand early on and to have respect for, but also to understand that it's not a good, it's generally not a good thing, and we're trying to eliminate that.